many people do you fall in love with every year that turn out to be fucking
risky.
nobodies?
Dude,
No, that honestly turn out to be nobodies.
Did you not see what Terrace Marshall Jr. was able to do for
Terrace
this
Marshall
offense
Jr. did less in his rookie year than Devin Funchess did.
He made some of the craziest catches this year. Specifically, that one that he caught the ball between his legs. How about this?
This is verification. What is it called?
Dude, he has high-end physical upside that Devin Funchess never had.
This is something. What is it called for historians? Whereas we want, it's like a verification data,
empirical evidence.
Like where you are searching for evidence that supports your claim rather than only looking at all data.
Right.
So I just think this is that you like Terrace Marshall Jr. coming in. I think you believed he could be successful. He would be successful. And anytime there's any semblance that he will or could be, that you believe you're using that as verification data. And I think the same thing with Shi Smith. And I'm not trying to root against these guys again, but I would feel more comfortable. And look, Devin Funchess showed more potential in his rookie year than Terrace Marshall Jr. showed in his first 2 years. But guess what? Devin Funchess sucked. He fucking sucked.
He loves salad. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember that?
He loves salad.
That's it.
So Terrace Marshall Jr. is already better.
I love salad.
Hey, let's talk about this. Deangelo Hall coming into the Carolina Panthers as a coach. And by the way, coming from the NFL Network, this man was literally working for NFL Network the day before we hired him. He was on there talking about things. So what do we think about Deangelo Hall joining the coaching staff?
I hated this fucking dude when he played for the Falcons. I hated him. He was a good player.
Did y'all remember?
He was a good player.
That clip,
assistant defensive back coach. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that, I guess.
Do we remember what, Cody?
He's an assistant defensive backs coach. There was a season of Hard Knocks when the Houston Texans had to go and play the Washington Redskins at the time. And DeAndre Hopkins and Deangelo Hall got into a fight, or damn near they were chipping at each other, barking at each other. And he was like getting all up in DeAndre Hopkins' face saying, "Nah, man, I can cover you easy." Just talking shit. And the next play, DeAndre Hopkins
or some shit.
breaks his ankles, dude. Goes right over the top of him, gets the ball, and Deangelo Hall hurt his ankle on that play. Dude, it was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. Hall was in the twilight of his career at that point. He was good for the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, and I try to there's one player that helped me get past some of my historical angst against players because of what they did in the past against me. And that was Roman Harper. I fucking hated Roman Harper as a New Orleans Saint.
Oh, okay.
When he was a New Orleans Saint, he was public enemy number one to me, much to the effect like Cam Jordan is to a lot of people now. That was Roman Harper, and you remember him and Steve Smith, where he took what I believe was a dirty hit at Steve Smith when Steve Smith was going into the end and caught a touchdown. Everybody, they just smoked that secondary, and in frustration, Roman Harper went and tried to teach him a lesson. That's kind of how football used to be. It was like an old school, hey, you come across the middle, you're going to get taught a lesson type deal. But it felt, I just hated Roman Harper for that moment. But then he came to Carolina and was so authentically committed to the success of the team. He owned up. He never backed and shied away from his past as a Saint. But I never felt like he was a turncoat inside. And I came to respect him. And so that's going to help me not hold a grudge against somebody like Deangelo Hall. That experience.
Yeah, I'm happy that he's a part of the coaching staff. He's not far removed from his playing days. So, I really like the trend in the NFL of coaches being the guys that are getting these
Previous
new
players.
head coaching jobs. I love it. Anthony,
Deuce Staley's a great example of a guy
Yeah,
who's
for sure.
moved up. And Deuce Staley, what I like about this is these guys also were good as players.
Right.
Right.
You know, they
Yep.
weren't just players. Is Deuce Staley was a hoss. He was
And,
a good player. Deangelo Hall was a good player at one point, even though you saw him get taken advantage of late in his career. He was not a schmuck.
there's a YouTube channel named Femlo Raps. He does these documentaries on players throughout the NFL, and he did one on Deangelo Hall that was really good. I recommend everyone go check that out. Anthony Piccarello with another $2 talking to Tony says, "Stop sleeping on TMJ. With real play calling, we fine." And I agree, man. I mean, sometimes you have to
I'm
work
not
with what
sleeping
you
on
have.
him.
And the point that I will make, Tony, going into that 2015 season, especially after Kelvin Benjamin went down in training camp, nobody thought that the Panthers had any kind of talent to be able to make the kind of push that we did. But you know what?
Funches and Terrace Marshall Jr. are the same exact player.
No, they're not.
And
No,
no.
Funches is better
Hold
than
on.
Terrence
Listen to me.
Marshall Jr.
I don't mean the play on the field and this, but both second round picks, both trade ups. I think we moved up for Terrace Marshall. Did we move up for Terrace Marshall Jr.?
We did.
All right. We did the same for Devin Funches. The same. And that's what I mean is like second round. Like, so you know what? We'll see where their careers turn out.
And
And
you're
I
making
hope
my
this.
point. Sometimes you have to bet on the players you have, even though they're not necessarily proven commodities.
Right.
Is
But what
Terrence
Tony's
Marshall Jr. proven? No, but it doesn't mean that he can't be the type of guy that you want him to be.
but what Tony's saying is we did do that, and you saw what happened with Devin Funches. What was his point?
And I'm also saying I'm not betting against Terrace Marshall Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying
He
this. If
has
you
to
came
show
to
us
me and
first.
asked for my investment in businesses, this one's a little bit riskier than a proven business to me. That's it. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. But, I've been in love with these ideas. I think this is that you come back and you'll look at this, is that I hope that his career, how about this? If his career is not better than Devin Funches, then I win and you lose. Like he has to be better than Devin Funches for your argument to hold any water.
All right, dude,
And
he's
I'm-
already looking better than Devin Funches ever did.
Yeah, you just want to see that is because after 2015, you would have said Devin Funches is about to blow up. The other is this is, you know what? As I say this, is Brandon LaFell better than all of them?
Oh God, dude, you just said
Brandon
old
LaFell, go
curmudgeon.
back. He took so much.
Look, Brandon LaFell is
Brandon
good. I'm not
LaFell
trying to
better
shit
than
on
both of
Brandon
these
LaFell.
motherfuckers.
Nah, listen, I'm gonna bet on the young guns who are more physically capable at the receiver position than ever before,
I think
man.
Brandon LaFell
So-
was a second round pick too. He might have been a third, actually.
No, I like Brandon LaFell. I've always liked Brandon LaFell.
Dude, Panther fans fucking hated him when he was here. They hate, and you know what? There was a rightfully so. He wasn't
Yeah.
great, but he was a little bit better than people gave him credit
He's an
for.
No,
LSU.
he
He
was
was
for
a
sure.
USC wide receiver, right?
Was it?
didn't he-
No, was he?
LaFell, didn't he come? No, LaFell came from LSU, right?
Yeah, he's
LSU,
he is
not
Terrace
USC.
Marshall Jr. That's the
Yeah, wow,
comp.
that is crazy.
Is that the comp?
the
Go back. I'm gonna look it up. Tell us about this when I look at their stats coming into out of college. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this came from Bears Twitter. But this is what it would cost for 3 different teams to move up to the number 1 overall pick based on a trade value chart. For the Texans to move up 1 spot, it would be the second pick this year at 2024 and 2025 first. The Colts would be their 4th pick, the 35th pick in the draft. The 24 first pick in 24 and 25. Now get this, for the Panthers to move up to number 1 to secure their quarterback, they're saying it would cost our 9th pick, our 39th pick, a 2024 first round pick, a 2024 second round pick,
Nope.
and a 2025 first round pick. Hell no, bro. What are we talking about? We are not going to trade the farm and trade the next 3 years of first-round draft picks for one of these guys? Hell no. I would much rather, if you have to have a quarterback, hang back and pick up the guy at 9 that you want, rather than mortgaging your
Amen.
future
Amen.
for
Yeah, I
a
told you it was going to
quarterback
take
you
Agreed.
3.
don't even know is going to work out or not.
Listen, here's the thing that I think is mind-boggling to me. The amount of people and content creators included that are okay with trading 3 firsts, trading away pretty much every pick that we have to go get one of these quarterbacks. Okay. Number one, historically, that has never worked. You might be able to point out 1 or 2 times that a team has been better off in the long run. But I am telling you, like, a lot of people will say, well, what happens if we would have traded up for Trevor Lawrence? Look how the Jaguars are doing better. The Jaguars didn't have to trade 3 first-round picks to make it happen.
Right.
Their team is markedly better with their draft picks and with Trevor Lawrence not having traded all of those assets away to go get him. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, when has it been a benefit? Like, when have you seen? I've seen teams succeed when they've traded up from like 15 to 10, or maybe from the second round up to the late first round. I've seen those work because you're not trading the freaking farm for these guys. It makes no sense whatsoever. All of these people are absolute just insanity. The Mahomes trade was not trading up into the top 5. It did not give away every piece of asset you have for the future. That was not what that was.
Yeah. And to add to your point, CK, is even if you were able to, even if you were willing to do that trade and say it was worth it, we're not a team that has like a bunch of first round picks stockpiled up from different, these are our first round picks. You could argue if you pulled in, like if you're Seattle and you got 3 first round picks for whatever, Russell Wilson, you have extra first round picks. You can make an argument that that's exactly why you positioned yourself in that place to use those and parlay them up. But we don't have that. We don't have like incredible ammunition. The only ammunition that we have or capital that we could throw away would be what we received in the Christian McCaffrey trade. And that's not what this is. And right. I told you guys 3 first rounds. The people that told you we're going to get away with next year's first, this year's first, and a second, 2 seconds. No way. There's too many quarterback hungry teams ahead of you. There's too many teams with more capital and more money to spend than us. Mm-hmm. The Panthers need to sit pat at 9 or even consider trading back.
The Bears are actually in a very crazy situation right here, because I've seen this in a couple situations, but I'm sitting here looking at it. They could trade back 3 or 4 times.
They should do it twice. They should do it twice.
They could, but they could do it 3 or 4 times, still pick in the top 7 and have 5, 6 picks in the first round for the next 2 or 3 years.
What if they traded back like twice or 3 times and then moved back up for less money than they spent? You know what I'm saying?
The Bears are in a great position, yeah.
I want to put this up real quick before we go. Is Cody still there? I'm going to just put this up here.
Yeah, what's up?
Do a quick. Now, Terrace Marshall Jr. is significantly faster than Brandon LaFell.
Significantly.
4.3. Yeah, I mean 4.5 versus 4.3 speed.
Yeah, that's significant.
Man, that's a big deal. It is a big deal. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's got a career of 1 touchdown, 628 yards. He had a 2022 season this past year, 28 catches for 40 yards. You can look at his stats here. Just a quick comparison, though. Just want to show you what LaFell. And this is why I'm not saying LaFell's a better, it's not an apples to apple. I'm just saying this is, you got a guy who did more in less time. This is the standard right here for me judging if he's got a successful career. First of all, LaFell played from 2010 to 2018. He only started 2 games his first season. He went 38 catches for 468 yards. He started 6 games his second season. Now he played in 11. He had 36 catches for 600 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's notably more accomplished in his first 2 years and people told us LaFell sucked, right? He went, I mean, he turned out to be, we thought he was going to be badass, and he just turned out to be okay. So this to me is the measurement that Terrace Marshall Jr. has to exceed for him to be what you say he is to me. I think he could. I mean, there's a possibility, but right now I'm betting against it. I'm going to bet right now. I bet that Brandon LaFell has a more accomplished career than Terrace Marshall Jr. And I don't want that to happen.
No, but then Tony, you can't say that
those odds are better.
You cannot say that you believe in him as a future prospect if you think that Brandon LaFell is going to be a better player. Like, you already know that he's not capable of doing the things that Brandon LaFell was. Why?
No, I go and place a bet in Las Vegas.
Tony, who has a better coaching staff, Terrace Marshall Jr. now or whatever Brandon LaFell had?
Who had a better
Have we
quarterback?
not just sang the praises?
Oh, you
of
mean
this
Brandon
coaching
LaFell,
staff?
who got 468 yards with Jimmy Clausen as the quarterback?
Yeah, wait till you see what he does this year.
He's got more yards than what's his name's had, and he had a worse quarterback than all of them.
Right.
So no, I don't want to hear that. What I'm telling you is
know
this,
that
is
Brandon
I can
LaFell
go
is
and
gonna
put
have
a
a
bet
better
on the
career.
table in Las Vegas, and I can believe it can win, but the odds are in the house's favor.
Yep. We don't.
I'm saying is that if he is better than Brandon LaFell, I consider that a bet that you won.
Right. And you're right, Cody. We don't know that he's going to have a better career. I think what he's saying is to this point, he hasn't yet. Like, to this point,
Just like what odds are.
If you continue,
Just
if you
think
continue
of
to go out
odds.
as
Right,
you
no
are,
doubt.
he wouldn't have the career.
If we
so.
bet,
No
all right,
doubt.
so is
There's
this is if
also
I
no
bet
point-
if you bet
There's
100.
There's no reason to believe that he's not capable of doing that and then some, based on what we have seen him do.
I
in
feel
a
like you're not
very
listening
short
to me.
sample
But see,
size.
that's the thing, Cody.
I'm
is
not.
what you're
I
saying doesn't-
believe he is capable. I'm just not betting on it.
right. And the thing is,
Why
what
would
you're
you bet
saying,
on it?
I kind of get what you're saying, Cody, but that's really not true. You're kind of stepping on your own argument. Like, we're saying that what he's showed so far shows he's not as good as. Therefore, from what we've seen so far, would not represent that he's going to get better. You see what I'm saying? Like, he showed us nothing to show us that he's going to get better.
I feel like we
I
got
do
to learn about.
disagree with that last statement. The last half of the season, TMJ turned it on. To be fair, like,
Okay.
he was absent for the first half of the season because our passing game was absolute dog crap, right? However,
He had 28 catches.
right in the last half of the season, if you look at the numbers, it's probably going to be heavily tilted in the last half of the season for TMJ.
But even
Okay,
then,
all right. So
28
here,
getting
this is
better.
what I guess I feel like Cody's not understanding what betting and gambling odds are. Is that if you put $100 that LaFell will have that not LaFell that TMJ would have a better career than Brandon LaFell, you would get positive odds back. And what I mean by that is you put $100 in, you're going to win plus 100 money. You know, you're going to not only win your bet, but you're going to win a little bit more. If I put $100 that Brandon LaFell is going to have a better career, my 100 is going to yield 80. Unlike your 100 that's going to yield 110. Is that this is you are
shit to me.
You are betting 14. You're betting 0 on the roulette wheel. Yes,
I don't, dude. Let me say, save your breath, dude. Whatever you're saying, I don't give a fuck, bro. Terrace Marshall Jr. has such a higher physical upside that I'm willing to bet
go to Las
on
Vegas
him having a better career than Brandon LaFell did. He is physically capable.
Greg, mark it down.
Doing more.
Mark this down.
And what?
How much are you willing to bet? Put your money where your mouth is. You still didn't pay me on your first bet.
When does this bet end? When would we know the winner?
Jr. retires from the NFL.
Fine. What, 100? Let's do 100.
Yeah, let's do 100. And he has to have a career. Do you want to do yards? Do you want to do yards, catches, or touchdowns? I think we should do yards.
Yeah, let's see. Well,
would you rather have a wide receiver that has 15,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, or that has
Julio
1,000
Jones.
yards and 12 touchdowns?
Yeah, right.
Julio Jones. Yes, I'd rather
Right, but
have
I'm saying,
Julio
would you rather have the
Jones than
touchdowns or the
fucking
yards?
Brandon LaFell.
Why don't we see
Brandon
who has
LaFell
the
has
best
more
2 out of
touchdowns
3?
than Julio Jones.
Why
probably.
don't we see who has the best 2 out of 3 in each of those stats at the end of it?
I like that.
Okay, I'll do that. I like that.
Yep.
I
All right.
like that.
Deal.
Now we have to
Brandon
live
LaFell.
out. Look, Brandon LaFell might play again. Still, he played. He had a good, respectable career. He went to
Patriots and got a Super Bowl.
and he did Cincy for 2 years and finished in Oakland. Lowest year he never had his rookie year and his final year. He had 468 yards his rookie year. That was the lowest in yards, and the lowest in yards was 2018 with Oakland 135. He had 7 touchdowns with the New England Patriots in 2014.
Yeah.
6 with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm winning this bet. I'm winning. I can't wait to accelerate into the future and win this.
Have
100.
you
You might
ever
as well just
beat
go
me
ahead and
in
send it to me.
Have
Just go
you
ahead and
ever
send it
beat
to
me?
me.
No, have you ever beaten me in anything? Ever?
Yes.
One time?
What? The
No, you
Terrace
haven't.
Marshall Jr. bet?
No.
The one where I said Terrace Marshall Jr. would not have 600 yards? You mean
What
that
about
bet?
the Shi Smith would have more yards than what did he say? What was it that Shi Smith would have more
I've
yards
won
than
every bet.
Oh, well, that was some bullshit. That was because of Matt Rule. That's like a scratch those out. Doesn't count.
That's like a
No.
motherfucker putting a
I
bet
love
on a
that.
number and on the
Every
roulette
time.
wheel.
When did you
Oh, that's
when
some
did you
bullshit.
beat
It's because
me?
that wheel didn't spin the way I would have spun
No,
it.
that don't mean
So
shit to me. That was
stupid.
Matt Rule.
When did you beat me? Qualifies when you bet him.
Yeah,
Damn,
like, but not that time. Yeah, shut
Yeah,
the
that's
fuck
true.
You can't
up.
use that time or any of the other times that I beat you.
I beat
Yeah,
you
I
on
mean, you know,
every
that
Terrace.
was-
Have you ever
that was
beat me
Matt
on a
Rule.
Terrace Marshall Jr. bet? Never.
You've only had one.
Yeah,
There's
and you didn't
only
win
been
it.
Technically, you hadn't beaten him. So, I mean, he's
Oh.
right, not wrong.
Dude, I am gonna be right on Terrace Marshall Jr.
I hope
and
so.
you're gonna have to
Says.
kiss my shoes.
You know what? I'm fucking hoping so, because we have been. Do you know how long the Panthers have been trying to find that second round wide receiver who turns into a fucking star? Brandon LaFell was that guy for us. Like we thought, oh shit, he comes out and has his second year as in a sophomore season, first year with Cam Newton. He has 36 catches, 613 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a 91-yard touchdown. Right? You're like, oh man, we just needed LaFell to get a quarterback. That's what we were saying in 2011. And then he just turned into a meh player. But his meh was way better than Devin Funchess. That was the next guy that we wanted to be the bodied receiver. The Panthers have not had since Masim Muhammad a big-bodied receiver that was fucking great. They haven't. And
We
we've
got
been
one now,
searching
baby.
for. I
His
hope
name is
so.
Terrace Marshall Jr.
We said the same thing, and somebody
We
put
should
it in
bet
the
on it.
chat. Somebody put the chat of the real guy we were all hoping for, David Geddes, the man with no fucking hamstrings.
Who the fuck is that?
See, this is the thing. He's such a baby, guys.
What the fuck
It's his
is that?
birthday today. Thank God you're finally becoming an
Somebody,
adult.
hey, somebody other than Tony, tell me who David Geddes is.
Wide receiver.
Okay, what else? Is that the only thing you know about him? Hey, caught you. Nobody knows who David Geddes is, dude.
Dude, somebody in the chat was talking about it, and I'll tell you this. Look, here, let's just pull him up real quick. Here's a little history lesson to you. David Geddes was a 6th-round pick. So, you know what? He was what Shi Smith is to you, but to us. He was our Shi for the old hats, except for David Geddes was 6'3", 217 pounds. And in his rookie season, he came out and he had 37 catches for 508 yards, 3 touchdowns. This motherfucker came out as a rookie and a 6. We were like, oh shit, we got him. We got him. And then this motherfucker lost his hamstrings. His hamstrings, both of them snapped, exploded, and he never played again. Never played football again. This dude came out and made what you imagine Terrace Marshall Jr. being as a 2nd-round pick. David Geddes was a 6th-round pick who actually did that shit. 2010 with Jimmy fucking Clausen had 508 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had more touchdowns than Jimmy Clausen. How does that even happen?
Oh, I think I kind of remember this dude now.
You don't remember? No, it's like he's like one of these crushes. He's one of the crushes that taught me the lesson you haven't learned yet.
It's different
Terrace
players,
Marshall
man.
Jr. might be that guy. Shy
You're
Smith
blaming
definitely
different
is that
people. You're blaming Terrace Marshall Jr. for what other men couldn't do, and I think that's unfair, man.
guy.
Hey, how about this?
No, let's go
What
to the
I
next
said
call,
before,
because
what I said before last season still applies. It's prove it season for everyone. Everybody's still got to come in and prove that they are worth their pay grade, worth that second round pick, worth all the contracts that these people have just been signed to, all that shit.
oh shit. Can I just tell you this? Just because this would be what's awesome about this is Cody would have loved David Geddes more than any of us. Let me tell you about this man. Right? He was 217 pounds. He ran a 4.43 40 coming out of college. He had a vertical leap of 34.5. His broad jump was 124 inches. Had an 18.47 40-yard mile per hour.
What was his vert?
Like his vertical was 34.5.
Okay.
He bench pressed 15 reps. Like this guy was his pro day, he ran a 4.39 out of Baylor. Hand size 10-inch hands, arm length 34 inches. So if you just think is that this guy was like one of those dudes that you thought could be what draft people found. And you know what? The poor guy didn't have hamstrings. I mean, literally, we watched him explode. They snapped like rubber bands, and he never came back and played in the NFL again. That's it. Look, I love teaching these young. You know what? I'm a history teacher, and we got to, at some point, Cody, you got to just be ready to be educated a little bit on the past. That doesn't mean your takes now are wrong.
Well, sometimes they are. Yeah.
David Geddes doesn't tell me a goddamn thing about Terrace Marshall Jr., dude. Not one thing. Yeah, players bust. Okay, I'm saying based on
he's not a bust.
Yeah, if it was
He
a
was
one
a six-round pick.
Hamstrings were a bust.
Yeah,
if he was
right.
if he was a 1 year wonder, he was a bust. Just
Well,
like
what is he if he hasn't been a 1 year wonder yet?
What?
You say if he's a 1 year wonder, he's a bust, but what is he if he's been in 2 years and hasn't been a wonder yet?
We're still waiting on Terrace Marshall
Terrace
Jr.
Marshall's
to
still
wonder.
That's what I'm saying. We're like,
Terrace
Terrace Marshall
Marshall
hasn't done
Jr. is
nothing
still
yet.
playing. Geddes doesn't play NFL football.
I'm just saying Marshall hasn't done nothing yet.